The words orphans don't wear white. It's for real family sliced through the air like a dagger, piercing my heart in the heart of a glittering bridal boutique on Madison Avenue. In that moment, surrounded by strangers' stares and the suffocating weight of judgment, I felt the raw sting of abandonment all over again, a little girl once more, nose pressed against frosted windows of foster homes, yearning for a place to belong. But orphans, you see, are forged in the fires of adversity. We learn early that survival isn't given, it's seized. This is the story of Vivian Ashford, a tale not just of revenge, but of reclamation, drawing from the historical echoes of self-made titans like Andrew Carnegie, who rose from Scottish poverty to build empires, reminding us that lineage is no match for unyielding will. As we embark on this narrative journey, woven with English idioms like rise from the ashes, meaning to emerge stronger from ruin, and vocabulary such as adversity, severe hardship, we'll explore emotional depths, philosophical wisdom from thinkers like Nietzsche on resilience, and modern ties to English learning, how mastering language empowers the voiceless, and universal truths about self-worth in a world obsessed with origins. In the bustling heart of New York City, where skyscrapers pierce the clouds like ambitious dreams, Vivian Ashford's story begins not in opulence but in obscurity. Much like the historical orphans of the 19th century during the Industrial Revolution, when children like those in Charles Dickens' novels toiled in factories, their fates dictated by circumstance rather than choice. Vivian, abandoned as a newborn on the steps of a Brooklyn orphanage in 1993, a year marked by economic recessions that left many families fractured, grew up navigating the labyrinthine foster care system, a network of temporary homes that promised stability but delivered only transience. Labyrinthine, for our English learners, means intricately complex, like a maze from Greek mythology where Theseus battled the Minotaur, symbolizing the confusing paths Vivian traversed. Her first foster home was with the Millers, a kindly but overwhelmed couple in Queens, where she learned her ABCs from faded picture books, whispering words like resilience, the ability to recover from difficulties, under her breath during sleepless nights. But at age 7, a social worker's knock uprooted her again, sending her to the Harrisons in the Bronx, where harsh discipline taught her the idiom tough love, affection mixed with strictness, often more tough than loving. Vivian's emotional development here was profound. She internalized the pain of rejection, her small hands clutching a tattered teddy bear as her only constant companion, mirroring the historical plight of orphan trains in the 1800s. Where over 200,000 children were shipped from eastern cities to Midwestern farms, many facing exploitation but some, like future governors and inventors, forging paths of greatness. As she bounced between homes, 7 by age 12, Vivian discovered books in public libraries, devouring classics like Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, where the orphaned protagonist declares, "I am no bird, and no net ensnares me," igniting a spark of defiance in her young soul. This literary immersion became her English education, explaining idioms like turn the page, to move on from a difficult situation, as she applied them to her life, vowing to rewrite her narrative. Philosophically, this echoes Stoicism from ancient Rome, where Epictetus, a former slave, taught that we control not events but our responses. Vivian embodied this, channeling hurt into ambition. By high school, in a rundown foster group home in Harlem, she excelled academically, earning scholarships through sheer grit, working 3 jobs, waitressing at a diner, learning hustle and bustle, the noisy activity of busy places, tutoring peers in English, explaining vocabulary like perseverance, persistent effort, and stocking shelves at a bookstore. Her vivid character moments shine here, a rainy night when a foster sibling mocked her dreams, saying she'd amount to nothing, only for Vivian to retort with quiet fire, "From nothing comes everything," drawing from the Big Bang Theory's modern relevance, where the universe exploded from a singularity, teaching us that origins don't define destinies. As she graduated valedictorian, tears streaming down her face not from sorrow but triumph, Vivian stepped into college at NYU on a full ride, majoring in finance, a field dominated by privilege, much like the Gilded Age tycoons such as John D. Rockefeller, who started as a bookkeeper and built Standard Oil. Her emotional arc deepened. Loneliness gnawed at her during dorm nights, but she built a facade of confidence, joining debate clubs to hone her eloquence, mastering idioms like level the playing field, to make opportunities equal. In lectures on economic history, she connected her struggles to the Great Depression orphans who survived breadlines, realizing that economic empowerment is a universal wisdom. English as a global language facilitates this, allowing immigrants and underdogs to negotiate deals worldwide. Vivian's first internship at a Wall Street firm exposed her to cutthroat ambition. A boss dismissed her ideas, calling her green, inexperienced, like unripe fruit, but she turned it into fuel, staying late to analyze markets, learning terms like bull market, rising prices, optimistic like a charging bull. By graduation in 2015, amid a recovering economy post-2008 crash, she landed a junior analyst role at a boutique firm, where her keen eye for undervalued assets, much like spotting diamonds in rough, an idiom for finding hidden value, propelled her upward. Emotional development peaked when a mentor, an elderly trader named Mr. Goldstein, shared his Holocaust survival story, teaching her Nietzsche's "What doesn't kill me makes me stronger," a philosophy she adopted as her mantra. Modern relevance ties in today's gig economy, English proficiency opens doors for self-made success, as Vivian used it to pitch ideas in boardrooms, breaking glass ceilings. She founded Ashford Capital Partners at 28, naming it after a misspelled version of her orphanage surname, starting with seed funding from small investors impressed by her pitch, vivid moment, trembling hands as she presented to a room of skeptics, but her voice steady, weaving stories of historical underdogs like Oprah Winfrey, orphaned in spirit through poverty, who built media empires. The firm grew to manage billions, specializing in private equity mergers, where Vivian's orphan insight, knowing how to rebuild from scraps, gave her an edge. Philosophically, this chapter teaches that identity isn't inherited but constructed, echoing existentialism from Jean-Paul Sartre. Existence precedes essence, meaning we define ourselves through actions. As Vivian amassed wealth discreetly, avoiding the spotlight like Howard Hughes in history, she yearned for personal connection, leading to her meeting Derek at a charity gala. He, from old money, wealth passed down generations, idiom for inherited fortune, charmed her with attentiveness, but she hid her success, wanting love untainted by status, a test of true worth. Their whirlwind romance, dinners in hidden bistros, whispered promises under starlit skies, masked the brewing storm with his family. Constance Whitmore's first dinner interrogation about family froze Vivian's smile. Lineage, ancestral descent, and breeding, upbringing, often classist, were wielded like weapons, echoing historical class divides in Victorian England. Derek's apologies rang hollow, but Vivian, ever the survivor, pressed on, hoping for acceptance. The bridal shop incident crystallized her pain. Constance's barb about white dresses, symbolizing purity reserved for real families, hearkened to medieval traditions where white denoted virginity and status, but Vivian saw it as archaic snobbery. In that moment, as stares burned in Derek averted eyes, Vivian's emotional core shattered, then reformed stronger, deciding revenge not from spite but justice. Pulling the merger on Whitmore and Associates, a firm teetering like many post-recession, was calculated. Historical parallels to corporate raiders like Carl Icahn, who dismantled empires, informed her move. The fallout, stock plummets, partners flee, Harold's dreams crumble. Derek's confrontation in her office revealed his weakness. Vivian's calm dismantling of their illusions, ring returned, was a pinnacle of growth. Constance's lobby storming, her fury turning to please, underscored the philosophy, power shifts when underestimation backfires. Modern tie, in English learning contexts, idioms like tables have turned, situation reversed, empower narratives of comeback. Vivian's penthouse reflection, wine in hand, marked peace, donating to fosters, hosting dinners, wearing white freely. This journey from orphan to titan teaches that scars become strengths, inviting us to reflect on our own origins. What if your greatest wound is the forge of your unbreakable spirit? Consider, in a world that judges by birth, how will you author your legacy through deeds, embracing English as your tool for global empowerment and personal triumph? As the city lights twinkled like distant stars from Vivian's penthouse perch, her story delves deeper into the aftermath of confrontation, echoing the historical resilience of figures like Frederick Douglass, An escaped slave and orphan in spirit who mastered English oratory to abolitionize America, reminding us that language is the ultimate liberator. 3 months post-breakup, Vivian navigated the corporate coliseum with renewed vigor, her firm Ashford Capital Partners expanding into sustainable investments, a nod to modern climate crises, where English terms like greenwashing, falsely claiming eco-friendliness, became her weapons in due diligence. Colosseum, for English enthusiasts, evokes ancient Roman arenas of gladiatorial combat, symbolizing the brutal battles of Wall Street where Vivian, once the underdog, now reigned as imperator. Emotional development surged as solitude bred introspection. Nights alone, she journaled in elegant prose, dissecting idioms like lone wolf, independent operator, from pack animals' outliers, to affirm her self-sufficiency. Vivid moments abounded, a board meeting where a male colleague patronized her strategy, only for her to counter with data-driven eloquence, drawing from historical women like Madam C.J. Walker, America's first self-made female millionaire, an orphan who built a haircare empire in the early 1900s amid racial barriers. Vivian's philosophy evolved, blending Eastern wisdom like Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, with Western pragmatism, teaching that patience in adversity yields empires. Modern relevance shines in English learning. Mastering vocabulary such as due diligence, thorough research, equips global professionals to navigate mergers, as Vivian did when scouting a European tech startup, negotiating in flawless English accents honed from podcasts. Her character deepened through mentorship. She took under her wing a young intern, Maria, a first-generation immigrant struggling with idioms. Vivian explained break the ice, initiate conversation, over coffee, fostering emotional bonds absent in her youth. The Fortune 500 gala became a turning point. In a white gown evoking bridal defiance, Vivian networked with titans. Her speech on orphan innovation, how lack of safety nets breeds creativity, resonated, tying to historical inventors like Thomas Edison, orphaned young, who lit the world. Emotional highs, a dance with an admirer who valued her mind, not money, stirring vulnerability. Lows, flashbacks to Constance's sneer, but she reframed them philosophically as catharsis, emotional release, from Greek tragedy. Expanding her philanthropy, Vivian funded English programs for foster kids, recognizing language as universal wisdom's key. Studies show bilingual orphans thrive, breaking cycles. A trip to Tuscany, ironically the villa Constance coveted, allowed reflection. Amid vineyards, she pondered stoic indifference to external judgments. Back in NYC, a chance encounter with Derek at a fundraiser, him diminished, her radiant, highlighted growth. No malice, just pity, embodying forgiveness's philosophy from Mandela, who rose from imprisonment. Vivian's empire grew, acquiring firms ethically, contrasting historical robber barons. Vivid scene, signing a deal saving a family business, tears from owners mirroring her unspoken past. Emotional arc, from guarded to open, she dated cautiously, seeking equals. Philosophical teaching, Aristotle's eudaimonia, flourishing through virtue, achieved not by revenge but purpose. Modern tie, in AI-driven worlds, English mastery aids coding ethics discussions. As Vivian hosted her first foster Thanksgiving, laughter filling her home, she embodied triumph. What hidden strengths lie in your vulnerabilities, waiting to propel you toward a life of purposeful flourishing? Venturing further into Vivian's odyssey, we uncover layers of global impact, paralleling historical orphans like Steve Jobs, adopted and feeling chosen, who revolutionized technology with intuitive design, underscoring that non-traditional routes foster innovation. At 33, Vivian pivoted Ashford Capital toward impact investing, targeting underserved markets in Africa and Asia, regions echoing colonial-era orphan displacements, like British India's famines displacing millions. Pivoted, an English term from basketball meaning to change direction, aptly describes her strategic shift, explained for learners as adapting like a dancer mid-performance. Emotional development intensified through travel, a vivid moment in Nairobi, meeting orphaned entrepreneurs, their stories mirroring hers, evoking tears and resolve. She funded their startups, teaching idioms like pay it forward, help others as you've been helped. Philosophically, this aligns with Kant's categorical imperative, act as if your actions were universal law, promoting equity. Modern relevance. English as lingua franca enables cross-cultural deals, as Vivian negotiated in boardrooms, breaking down barriers. Her character shone in crises, a market dip tested her, but recalling historical crashes like 1929's Black Tuesday, she steadied her team with motivational speeches, using vocabulary like volatility, rapid changes. Personal growth. Therapy sessions unpacked abandonment trauma, leading to inner child healing, psychological term for nurturing past self. A romance with Alex, a self-made architect, brought joy, vivid dates in Central Park, discussing dreams without pretense. Philosophical depth, drawing from Buddhism's impermanence, she released grudges against the Whitmores. Hearing of their downfall, firm restructured, Constance humbled, sparked no schadenfreude, pleasure in others' misfortune, German loanword, but reflection on karma. Expanding scholarships, Vivian lectured at universities, weaving English lessons with life wisdom. A book deal emerged, From Nowhere to Empire, blending memoir with idioms glossary. Emotional peak, adopting a rescue dog, symbolizing chosen family. Universal wisdom, resilience transcends origins. How might embracing your unique path unlock doors to global change and inner peace? Diving into the crescendo of Vivian's narrative, we explore legacy building, akin to historical figures like Alexander Hamilton, an orphan immigrant who shaped America's finance system through eloquent writings, proving words wield power. Now 35, Vivian's firm hit $100 billion assets, focusing on ethical AI, modern frontier echoing industrial revolution's disruptions. Crescendo, musical term for building intensity, captures her rising influence, ideal for English idioms like hit the ground running, start energetically. Emotional layers, founding an orphanage reform initiative, vivid visits to her old home stirred catharsis. Philosophy, Plato's cave allegory, escaping shadows of doubt to truth's light. Modern English tie, debating AI ethics in forums, using terms like algorithm bias. Character moments, mentoring Derek's sister Tabitha, who sought advice post-family fallout, fostering redemption. A health scare prompted reflection on work-life balance, embracing carpe diem, seize the day. Global travels, speaking at TED, story inspiring millions. Universal wisdom, self-worth is internal. What legacy will you craft, turning personal trials into beacons for others? In the epilogue of Vivian's empowering saga, we reflect on enduring wisdom, much like the timeless tales of orphaned heroes in folklore, from Cinderella to Harry Potter, who triumph through inner magic, teaching that true family is forged, not born. At 40, Vivian, now married to Alex with adopted children, leads a foundation for global orphans, integrating English education with tech skills, modern essential for empowerment. Epilogue, a literary term for concluding section, wraps her journey, explaining idioms like full circle, returning to origins transformed. Emotional fulfillment, family holidays in white attire, symbolizing purity of spirit. Philosophy, existential authenticity from Heidegger, being true to self. Historical nod, like Eleanor Roosevelt, orphaned young, advocating human rights. Vivid legacy, schools named after her, lives changed. Universal message, rise above labels. Have you considered how your story, woven with resilience and language, can inspire the world to embrace their worth beyond origins?